Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is Also Podcast Summer House Season 9 Reunion 2. We've done it. We've made it to the end, kind of. They're going to do Under the Sheets, I think is what they're calling it.
The renaming it is... No.
It's unseen footage. Well, what was it for Vanderpump? It was...
Secrets Revealed.
Secrets Revealed. Yeah, I don't know. It's all stupid. They're basically just going to show us a bunch of bits that probably were better than the show that they actually showed us.
Well, it looks like they're going to give us the stuff that they put in the trailer. Promo. Yeah, and then never gave us. And we bitched about it enough that they're like, okay, fine, here you go.
But 90% of the things we watched, on the show, was boring. They could have just put this in there. It's so stupid. Anyway, Bravo's falling off, and I don't know why, but I'm pissed about it.
Bravo is definitely in
Bravo's falling off.
Yeah.
I think they got too big for their bridges. They're making too many shows. I don't know what it is, but I'm fucking over it. I'm over it.
I agree, and I think they should hire us or some other fans to give feedback and tell them what's wrong.
Completely agree. Thank you so much. So new job opportunity is what we're looking for, Bravo. Thank you so much. We'll help you stay afloat because right now it's not looking good.
You're going down like the Titan submersible.
And we'll go down with you, but the thing is we won't stay down. You will. And
that's the thing is we can jump ship. There's always reality TV out there.
I'm not loyal to anyone.
I can yap about anything.
I can talk literally to a brick wall about literally anything. So if this podcast isn't proof enough, Bravo, we don't need you.
You need us viewers.
Truly. So just give us good content. But before we get into this reunion, whatever it fucking was, for the final time, we have an Instagram, we have a TikTok, we have a YouTube, we have a Patreon. All the links are in our descriptions. Please check that out. Also, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Meredith, I do believe we have a new review.
Really?
To end it. And this sounds like another one, but I checked to see the last time we read reviews, so I'm pretty sure this one we didn't read.
Okay.
But it is titled, I Love This Pod, 5 stars, from Court 91008. I don't remember that name, so I don't think I've ever read this before. But shout out Court. And Court writes, these girls are hilarious, lighthearted, and have fun takes and watch all the same shows I watch. I'm literally friends with them, and I won't let them tell me otherwise. I found them through their Summer House recap, but have stayed for also.
Nice.
Court, you're friends with us. What's up?
Yes.
Old pals.
This is the online community we all desperately need. Alicia and I just had each other in person because we worked together. That is the only reason. We couldn't keep it in.
Honestly, though, during COVID, we really, this kind of gave us something to do.
Yeah,
but we created a little community.
Even outside of COVID, I feel like people don't talk about Bravo enough if they don't know that other people watch. It's kind of like that, undiscussed thing unless you have that person that you just unleash it all on, aka
I
you
agree.
And me.
And people don't go through everything, and I forget a lot. So the fact that we take notes and talk about literally everything is very helpful. But then It's embarrassing when someone gets something wrong and I hear it and I'm like, actually, no, because I've seen the show 4 times and I've had to take detailed notes and I've discussed it for an hour with my friend. And then that's when it gets embarrassing.
I don't think you realize I'm doing a PhD on this show.
I'm actually an expert, so you're wrong.
If they were having a court case about Summer House, about Vanderpump Rules, we would be the expert witnesses.
Easy. I wouldn't even have to look over my notes the night before. I'd be I know. I could quote right out of my brain. Anyway. Yeah. So Meredith and I have nothing else to do but watch Bravo, but we can switch to different reality shows. Just let us know. Anyway, great. Let's hop right into the reunion. So, last reunion, we saw Wes bring his talking points. Him and Sierra kind of tried to clear the air. We also discussed Toegate. Emerald came later, which we loved. Jesse and Lexi talked about their relationship, and then Lexi was getting called out by Sierra for bringing her up on the media tour that Lexi's doing.
Yep.
So that's right where we pick up. Lexi is kind of I understand where you're coming from, Sierra, on the media stuff. I just think Jesse he orchestrated all this stuff. And Sierra's that's great. Just don't bring me into it. It's about this birthday party drama. I don't care.
I mean, Lexi keeps saying oh, I didn't mean to. I meant to give him the full heat. And I understand that her intention probably wasn't to attack or throw Sierra under the bus, but that's what she was doing. She was not making it clear that like Sierra had nothing to do with this. And also, your birthday was a month after all of this went down. Like, why did you expect these people to come?
Yes, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. I, first of all, think Lexi handled it really well. And second of all, I understand.
On the reunion, like, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she handled. I always say if you're gonna say something, like, stand 10 toes behind it and own up to it, and she totally did. But I think the other thing is, right, like, okay, this guy just whatever breaks up with you, you have a terrible summer, like, you think these girls don't like you. Like, her perception was very skewed to like what Jesse kind of gave her. So then when it's like, oh, it's my birthday, no one comes because no one in the house likes me. That's because of Jesse. But then he goes out with this girl, Sierra, who all summer he was flirting with, and I had to hear about that. It looked shitty, and I can see why. I can see her being angry at both, and I understand that, but I respect her taking a step back and being like, okay, hindsight's 2020. I was trying to give it to Jesse.
Yeah.
So like, I understand where she was going with it, and I'm not mad that she also said, well, Sierra was out with Jesse on my birthday, because it looked shitty. It does.
Agreed. That's so true. Like, her feelings are hurt. That's what she's talking on. But I will say, after the reunion filmed, she still was talking about Sierra in the press. And like talking about it the same way. It's like
crazy.
You gotta stop. Like, just you guys aren't friends. Like, just let it be.
I honestly don't care about either of them that much to like care about this. I also think like, I don't think I'd get that mad if someone's like dogging me in the press that doesn't matter. Like, I don't know why Sierra, I'd just be like, hey, keep my name out of your mouth.
I think because it ends up being a dog whistle for a lot of Sierra hate that isn't warranted.
Are people hating Sierra?
Yeah. People are like, she's not a girl's girl. Like, and like, I saw there's a creator named Chris. I don't know what her whole handle is, but she's amazing. Like, she has done some really great breakdowns of different topics within reality TV. And she really walked through how Lexi's media tour ends up falling into, like, the discussions end up falling into Sierra as like the Jezebel trope and what that means. And like, I knew what a Jezebel was, but I didn't fully personally like understand it within like the Black culture, and like how, or not really Black culture, but like how white people use that trope against Black women. And it was really eye-opening to kind of like have that laid out and use like this as an example of how that can be used against women of color. And so I think it just gives people more permission. Hate to Sierra. Yeah, that is just like so unnecessary, and it keeps stirring the pot and like keeping the hate going towards Sierra that is just so unnecessary and just shouldn't be given at all. So I think it's just like Lexi being unaware of like what her comments are doing. And so then like Sierra saying like, all right, just like stop commenting about me, and her continuing to comment on it in the press after it's filmed is frustrating.
After the reunion's kind of crazy because she literally tried to make up with Sierra.
Yeah. I don't think Lexi knows how to make relationships with people. I think she struggles with it if like somebody else isn't doing a lot of the legwork, because like we heard her at the start of the season say she struggled even in like high school, and she was like bullied.
Well, she was bullied for being pretty.
That like, I just don't know if she knows how
no one else had, but
to take on that work on her side of the fence of like to go out of her way to like make the friends either.
That's also fair. I just don't. I didn't connect with Lexi. I just didn't.
I agree.
I pitied her almost. Maybe that's why I'm talking.
Yeah,
I almost like pity her. So I just want to be like, everyone just forget about her and like, who cares at this point? Because like, I feel bad for her.
I feel bad for her in the context of the summer, but like everything outside of it, I haven't been
following it because I just don't. I don't care about her. I just like pity her. So like, I just didn't even keep up. Okay, so where are Lexi and Jesse at? Lexi's mad at him. She thinks there was a lot of playing people against each other. Jesse made it seem like the girls didn't like Lexi, and that in turn led Lexi to cling to him more. Jesse apparently said that Sierra, Amanda, and Paige were trying to break them up, which this didn't really get cleared up by Jesse. He just kept going, lies. And I kept being like, I don't know, man. It sounds like something you do. You don't have like a credible story. It's like when Craig's like, I'm telling the truth. And I'm like, there's not really a lot of evidence.
That's
to prove
so true.
you right or wrong. You know, like, I can't back you up at this point, so.
Your word isn't enough for me.
So, like, I don't doubt he did say that in a little bit. And Paige does say Jesse, you know, came in. This was his second season. It was Lexi's first. He was just trying to big dog Lexi. And I was like, damn.
I do think there is some conversation that happened. And it's just like, what actually was said and how was it taken by Lexi? Because I do think, and I would imagine anybody dating anybody in the house, no matter what number of seasons, but with one person having once, like this being their first, what they would have a discussion behind the scenes on how production goes, what it's like, what is the structure of the house. I know a lot of times when like girls bring other girls in, they try to let people make their own opinion of each person, but still you would probably give a layout of like who's friends, who's close, who's whatever. And so I think Jesse was saying like, Lexi or Paige, Sierra, and Amanda are really close and cliquey, as in like they just hang out a lot. Like they lay in bed together a lot, like all this stuff. And whether he actually said, you know, like they're not going to be your friends, I don't know. But I know for sure that there had to be a discussion about the house. Like I just think anybody would give someone a heads up.
I kind of thought when the whole like flirting with Sierra thing came to light, I was like, that would have been a really good time for Jesse then to be like, these aren't your friends. If they're like supporting me flirting with Sierra and they're not telling you, they're not your real friends. I bet it was more like that of like, they're not your real friends. You can't trust them. Because she also said at dinner that it was like, he said that she can't trust these girls. I think he flipped it a little. I think I agree
because if you think about it, we had Kickball, and that's where she found out about Toegate, and then it was brought up that Jesse was flirting with them. And so she got all this information, and he was probably like, they're not your friends. They're trying to make you think that things are happening when you're not.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Especially because the one thing we do have camera footage of is when he got mad at her for flirting with Wes, which now he's saying he never did. And I'm like, it was in front of us. So, like, not only do I not know enough about your word, but, like, in one situation, your word is trash. So, like, what?
I just always believe a version of the conversation will always have happened. Like, people are not sitting here just completely fabricating things on these reality TV shows. Like, there's enough footage, whether it gets shown or not, that you're just not completely, like, creating this narrative. And if if Lexi was completely making these conversations up, that's what he would be saying. He'd be like, we never had that discussion at all. Not like, that's not what I said. So you're right. We don't believe Jesse and what he says.
Too bad for him. Even Wes was like, dude, you did get mad. Like, even his friend is like, bro.
Wes every time is just like, oh no.
Wes needs to get rid of him because Wes's street cred could go up, but I think it's going to be brought back down if he keeps. I
just don't think he'll abandon him.
That's his problem. I don't think Wes's street cred will go up then because he'll stand by. It's like when two shitty men always support each other. You could be better on your own and more well-liked if you cared about perception. But you don't care about perception that much where you're not going to leave your shitty-ass guy friend.
Well, and what makes it worse is, like, Jesse loves the hate he's getting. So, like, Jesse's not embarrassed by it. So, like, Wes is like, all right, whatever. If you don't care, I guess I don't care.
Bang my head against a wall. Anyway. Yeah. For the amount of white men that have angered me today. Anyway.
The limit does not exist.
My God. So Lexi was also sharing how she felt really alone because Emerald was busy. Also, he's a guy. It's like a very different dynamic.
It's different. We talked about that a lot. Like, having a buddy means something.
Yeah. Jesse just thinks it was miscommunications. But he can see where Lexi was coming from. It was never his intention. Paige clears up, like, no one disliked Lexi. Everyone just thought Lexi was super into Jesse and, like, didn't want to get to know them.
Which I think was important to say because I think Lexi still thinks these girls hate her.
I agree. I like that Paige said that. We're like, none of us hated you. You weren't available for us to get to know. The part I will say I didn't love, I think it was nice Amanda then said, like, I wish you had texted me and I could have helped you. I was like, but why wouldn't you text her? She's not only younger than you, she's also a first year.
You are the one who brought her in, too. Like, you're the one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't know. I feel like if I was Amanda, and maybe this is just me, if I knew I was bringing someone in and they were a first year and I had been here for 9 fucking seasons, I probably would have reached out, like, maybe during the weekend, said, like, do you want to grab drinks? We can, like, talk. Like, even
especially,
just,
like, off camera.
Yeah. Off camera, we could get it filmed if you want. I'll just be like, how's your summer going? How do you feel like it's going? And then Lexi could have very easily said, like, I just feel very isolated from the girls. And Amanda could have been like, how about this weekend? You just spend a lot of time with Jesse. Let's just, like, I don't know. It'd be weird for Lexi to be like, hey, I don't think you like me, but do you want to grab drinks?
And I like that Lexi said that during the reunion. She was like, I didn't feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
If you think everybody is against you, you're not going to reach out and, like, share how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I've reached out to people I didn't even think were against me, and they didn't react
feel weird.
well.
Yeah,
like,
you feel
what?
weird. And then Amanda, like, took offense to this. Her face was like, you didn't feel comfortable? And I was like, I wouldn't this girl is like 25. She doesn't want to reach out to this 33-year-old and be
I know the, like,
hey.
connection and link of being brought in is very loose because it's usually like you met someone or like you may twice. Know them socially and they just were found by production. And so you're just the person. But I need these people and anybody on reality TV. If you were the person, like, who's kind of bringing them in, you kind of have a responsibility. Like, you need to be like a big sister to them.
If you're putting your name on it, you get all the responsibility of it. Sorry.
It's not like it's a huge responsibility. Like, text them once or twice throughout the season that's filming. Are you good?
You could film it. You could not film it. Could be, just a check-in. Hey, how you doing? You good? I know this is a crazy whirlwind.
Yeah. And like, if you have beef with that person, because sometimes I feel like when you bring someone in, sometimes you tend to fight with that person.
Sure.
And like housewives. Okay, fine. You're not responsible for that person anymore. If you have like an actual storyline of beef.
Yeah.
But if it's just a text, like, hey, how you doing?
If you're going to sit here and say no one hated you, then how come? I feel like Kyle did that too with Emerald, like just kind of left him to dry, but he was the one that was like, I'm bringing my friend. This was ridiculous.
That's so true.
Have some ownership.
He did really do that. Like, especially when the like sex shaming went down with Emerald, like, Kyle did nothing.
No, have some ownership. Act like these are your little siblings and have some love, protection.
Seriously. It's like a group project that they're just slapping their name on. They're like, yeah, they're my friend. Whatever.
I know you don't know them that well, but like a little check-in here and there.
One check-in at least.
Be like, I don't know Emerald that well. Sorry that he's having sex every night. I understand that's annoying. I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the thing. It goes for the rest of the house, too. Like, you're the bridge back from the rest of the house. So if, like, Paige is pissed about Emerald, like, having sex every weekend, it's like, go talk to Kyle because that's the link. Like, have Kyle talk to him.
Wait, we would be so nice on Summer House. We would really just make everyone feel fucking welcome. If we brought them in, we'd be so nice about it.
I have lived in a house with strangers, and, like, there's a group text where, like, I get it. Like, you kind of open and invite a lot of people. You talk about things in a large group. But I can't imagine if, like, one person was, like, kind of feeling left out or feeling targeted that you wouldn't try to do anything. Like, it was very obvious.
Brought in with all your friends. Like, it's a crazy scenario.
It was so obvious she was isolated. And then the minute that the Jessie stuff got rocky, the girls did talk to her, and I was proud of them. But, like, that is when you text Lexi, Amanda. Like, that's the Monday when you guys go home. You're like, hey, you good after that weekend?
Yeah, I guess Lexi should have reached out. It was weird. I didn't love it.
No,
but we'll move on. Anyway, so Jesse says he really tried. He made mistakes. He has regrets. He had genuine feelings for Lexi. Lindsay then reads them both to filth, honestly. And she's like, look, the both of you liked each other, but it went wrong because y'all were concerned about perception. Lexi thought Jesse was making her look like a fool. Jesse thought Lexi was making him look like an asshole. Like, y'all could have really liked each other, but the perception got out of hand.
That was spot on.
Everyone's like, that's our mom. That's our mom.
When Paige was sitting there saying that, I was like, wait, that's so funny.
I told you the world would heal once these two were friends.
True.
But then Kyle, the amount of white men I hate today was like, actually, I said that too. And everyone was boo.
I'm glad they shamed him. Bring back shaming white men.
Absolute shame. Do you watch Big Mouth at all?
No.
Whenever my friend and I want to shame someone, we say shame wizard because there's a character that shames all the kids on there called the Shame Wizard. Absolutely terrible.
Kyle trying to take ownership of he's trying to take ownership of what she's saying and repackage it as his own. I don't care if you said it first. She just had a brilliant thought. Stop trying to take credit for what she just said. Leave her alone.
If you can't take credit for Emerald, you can't take credit for anything. How about that?
Absolutely.
How about that? So, Jesse, he just said he tried to create a friendship with Lexi, but there's no opportunity to do so.
No,
and
you didn't. You wanted to bang her. You guys had a situationship. Also, let's back this out. It was a fucking situationship. You guys aren't friends. You never tried to be friends. You don't need to be friends.
I love Lexi saying she's good on the friendship.
Me too.
I'm good. Anyway, then we take a break. Emerald leaves. Goodbye, Emerald. I love you so much. Thank you for a fantastic season. You deserved better.
I heard he's probably going to be out.
I followed you on my personal account because I want to support you.
That's huge, Alicia.
I didn't even follow, honestly, Lindsay, Amanda, or Paige recently. I did all of them recently.
I have Paige, but that's it.
But Emerald, I love you so much. I'll give you some support. I follow a lot of people on Insta I probably don't care about, so you'll be one of them, but you deserve my follow.
You'll be one of them.
We will never unfollow you on our podcast. Never.
No.
Love you.
If you do some terrible things, you will get an unfollow. But at this present trajectory.
I have faith.
I agree.
You won't disappoint us.
I'm just saying we do have standards, and being on the wrong side of politics will do it.
We know that every time I try and assume something, I'm wrong on this podcast, so I'll try and not.
Every time we vouch for a man, they do typically fall.
They do me dirty. They text me terrible things. No, it's fine. Okay, so then in the break, Lexi apologizes to Sierra again, which I really liked.
Me too.
She apologizes a bunch of different times, honestly, and Sierra seems to get it, and they seem cool. Obviously, things change in the media. I don't care. Until it pops up on my TV next season, I don't really give a shit. But Jesse goes to the back and he's like, I never did anything wrong. And I was like,
oh my God, this man.
So then a reunion starts again. Let's talk about pregnant Lindsay and Jesse's stank face he made when he found out Lindsay was pregnant. He just says he couldn't believe it, because the first time he met Lindsay, she was engaged to Carl. And now the second time he's hanging out with her.
Listen. It was a lot. I don't fault him for his initial face, but it's get it together at some point. His face was like that for a while.
Yeah. Carl says he was happy for Lindsay, also surprised, but happy for her ultimately. Then we have to talk about how Gabby was talking to Lindsay on the show and said that Carl contributes nothing to the house, which I want to be like, girl, I forgot you existed in this reunion.
Yeah.
Pot kettle.
I'm like, you're not the one. And I do think it's sad when people go after looks. That's just unnecessary.
But I did it too. It was his teeth. His teeth. I didn't know Carl had so many issues with his teeth.
I didn't either. And that makes me feel so bad because that last summer, his teeth were a huge discussion.
Listen, I didn't know, for the record. That being said, I stand 10 toes behind what I said. They're bright teeth. We saw the difference. They were bright-ass teeth in his face.
And he also knew that they were bad and got them fixed. And you know what? His teeth right now, they look great.
They look great. I didn't even notice them this season. Last season
literally,
was like a blinding light.
No, last season had his bad teeth.
Yeah, last season it was. It was the yellow.
This past season, last summer
he looks great. He looks fine.
His problem. No. Last summer he had his problem teeth.
Yeah, this summer
reunion
he looks great.
Has good. No.
I see what you're saying.
Season 9, problem teeth in the mouth.
I get it. Yeah.
Reunion, good teeth.
They were the veneers, right?
Well, he got new ones.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yes, they were bad teeth. And he knew them, and we knew them. And that's not, I'm glad, here's the thing. If you're gonna get elective things done to you, if it doesn't look good, I'm gonna say something. But you gotta fix, and that's
his issue. They weren't as elective as just it wasn't just vanity.
He had some dental shit.
Yeah,
dental shit happen. Which is ironic because he used to be in dental sales, I think. That was very fun.
He did say he was very passionate about it the one season he was actually employed.
He did, yep. Well, that didn't last long, unfortunately, but yes. He's looking better. But Gabby does say, she's like, listen, when I talk about my friend's exes to my friends, we just talk shit. And I was like,
absolutely.
Fair, 1,000%.
I like how she
nice.
owned up to it. She had apologized to him during the season. I love when people do that. Whenever you get caught, it's like, hey, this was shitty of me reaching out. I hate when people wait till the reunion.
In my opinion, both Gabby and Carl could never appear on my screen, and I'd be okay because I think they both bring nothing.
I don't think I would notice.
Carl brings ugly green shoes, and I don't even know what Gabby brings.
Carl brings a little bit more than Gabby, I will say, though, because of his long-standing storyline with everybody else and his ex.
I guess. I don't need either, though, to be honest.
No.
I would prefer neither. So then we talk about Carl and Lindsay's friendship, the friendship that doesn't really exist. That was also very hard on the anniversary of his brother's death. Carl says he really missed the friendship because, in any situation, losing a friend sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, unfortunately, is not there yet to miss the friendship, but it was very nice of her to acknowledge the anniversary. I hate that we call it an anniversary, but that's what we're calling it. Acknowledge the anniversary of his brother's death. And Lindsay says that no matter what, that situation is the hardest thing Carl has ever gone through, and it is worth acknowledging regardless of their history or past.
I love that.
Man, a mature woman. She's really grown. I love it. And I love that they both still have a mutual kind of love and respect for each other.
And when Andy was talking about their past, and Carl was too, Lindsay had a little bit light in her eyes and stuff. And I think she can look back and put that as a book and say that was a wonderful time while it was happening. The friendship part of it.
Yes.
Look back and have fond memories about the life that they had. Obviously, them dating and getting engaged is a whole different book. But they did have so many years together, and a lot of it is captured on this screen and is tied to this show that I feel I would be bitter, and it would take me a few years to be able to think fondly of the friendship, but I think she's able to separate it out, which is nice.
I agree. And it's really nice. And I always say it's got to be really hard because they weren't just summer house friends. They were really good friends.
They were long. What do they call
themselves? The Trace Amigos with Danielle. The Trace Amigos. She called him Carlito. It was very personal.
And they lived. I think those. Okay, I was gonna say. I think they lived in the same building before they got were dating. They were so close.
Yeah. So, but it's very nice that they can kind of, at least at this reunion, communicate a little bit, which I enjoyed. Yeah. So when we talk about Turner and Lindsay, Turner's a great father. Lindsay and Turner don't live together because their romantic relationship is on pause for now. Everyone's shook. Everyone is
I don't get how these people are shook. There was so much in the press about this.
I don't think they really listen to press. And I don't think
That's true.
Also Lindsay says they're just focusing on co-parenting, and they do still live their lives almost like romantic partners, but it's really just as co-parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anyone would really know, right? If they're already not really into PDA, let's say, right? But they show up places together, they're talking together, they're hanging out. I'm sure there's an occasional touch of the arm or something that I'd be oh, they're very
he's probably
together.
So attentive to her because from what we kind of hear about, he sounds like a really good guy.
Yeah, he sounds great. And I think the main issue that we can decipher from what we know in their relationship is Turner's just very private and Lindsay's very public. And as she says, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. She's out there. She's public. This is her job. This is her livelihood. So sorry. Which is sad because I don't know.
Do you think they'll get back together?
It sounded no, because Gabby said that
what she said felt like she kind of outed Lindsay's feelings, and Lindsay hasn't said that to him.
I agree, because Gabby said that Turner's a great dad, but not romantically right for Lindsay. And I was that is a lot. But Turner is spending nights. He sleeps over half the week. Neither one of them are dating anyone else. They do brunches. They're always hanging out. Listen, I don't know what it's like to be connected to someone through just a kid.
I
don't know if it would be easy or not. But also, they're not hooking up, but they're sleeping in the same place. I don't think they're romantically into each other or even sexually
I don't think
into
so
each other.
either. And I wonder if one thing Lindsay did learn from the Carl breakup is like to not hold on so tight just because.
Maybe. Yeah, because I mean, like, dude, my ex comes over here today. I could hate him, but if he's sleeping next to me, we're probably going to hook up. Like, it's just.
I think he's sleeping on like a bed in Gemma's room or the couch.
You're in the same place as me. I'd be like, just get in here.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're that.
Especially early on. Like now we're probably like 6 months out, but like you're telling me like you haven't hooked up at all since you broke up. Like
we literally
you're not into him.
We share life and we're not just gonna bang out it. Like it that makes zero sense. I feel like that would make me be like, look what we did. Let's just hook up. I don't know.
Like if he's such a good dad, I feel like that would kind of be a turn on when he's like with your kid.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Oh my God, just for proximity at some point, I'd be like, I'm feeling it. You're here. I think they don't like each other. I think they don't like each other.
I wonder if he's kind of like boring, I would think. He just seems so like normal for her.
Maybe there's also the fear though of ruining something that's going to be good for Gemma. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's a good point.
Like they don't even want to cross the line because something could get ruined, like their co-parenting relationship. What do I know? Nothing. I don't co-parent, but
I knew they weren't together because Lindsay moved recently, and like there is no way you're moving and you're not moving in with that guy if you guys are together.
Yep. Crazy. So whatever, they're gonna figure it out. Again, they don't know because one of the parents is private, one is public. No real Gemma photos on the internet, which I think is fair. I'm very pro don't post your kids on the internet,
which I don't think Lindsay has a problem with. Like she's got enough to show without like showing her daughter's face. Like that doesn't seem to be an issue.
Okay, so what would Lindsay today say to Lindsay of 9 years ago? She says, trust the universe. It won't go the way you think, but it'll all work out. Mm-hmm. And then Andy's like, that's great. Carl, let's talk about your Libra energy. And I was like, well, what a way.
Why did we have to talk about Lil, our favorite magician?
Talk about Lillian. This was crazy. Carl just thought she had a hot bod.
No. This is where I'm like, Carl, I don't trust your interest in people because no body shame at all. But like when said that, they showed Lindsay's face and Lindsay and Lil are nothing alike. Like nobody Carl has dated is like Lil. So like you just like that somebody liked you and that's okay.
Listen,
but like you didn't like her body.
Listen, when someone's like, what'd you like about her? And you're like, she had a hot, you can't even be like, I thought she was hot. You couldn't even, you had to say a hot bod. The fuck?
Yeah, that's so true. That's so weird to phrase it like that. Like, you could have said she's quirky in a good way.
Carl gives, like, he doesn't know how to act cool. So he's like the dad that's trying. And everything he says is just like, stop. Anyway. So he brought Lil for a weekend and Andy's like, Lindsay, did you care? And Lindsay's like, nah, I was gone that weekend. So I don't give a shit what this man does. She was annoyed though that Carl talked about where Gemma was conceived and I screamed because that was not going to let it go. It was weird that Carl told Lil that Lindsay, his ex was now pregnant in the bed that they had bought together. Or they had hooked. Yeah,
they
you know
purchased
what I mean.
Together. Yeah, I also appreciate Lindsay being like, "You're wrong." By the way,
it wasn't in a bed, and I
was like, "Tell me more about this."
Went, where was it? And she goes, "I don't have to share that." And I was,
did you hear Amanda?
Please, what? No,
Amanda goes, "Oh, are you going to pull a Turner and be private about this now?"
I want just tell me where. Tell me where. You could be very vague about it. You could say a couch. You could say, I don't know, a bathroom,
a car.
You could be a little vague.
I just need to know,
restaurant?
like,
I don't know.
in the game of Clue, like, just tell me the location generically.
Exactly. It was Turner and Lindsay in the where making the baby. Let us know. Okay, so Carl then versus Carl now, what's the difference? Kyle says Carl is more confident, more comfortable in his skin. And I went, maybe, but he also doesn't seem to know how to function as an adult
Carl,
sometimes.
Confidence isn't what I would say. I would say he is more comfortable in his skin because he was probably using a lot of substances because he was probably really uncomfortable. But confidence isn't what I would go with. I would go with, like, calm.
Notice how we also didn't talk about soft bar.
I bet that got cut out. Because I don't think I bet they talked about it the day of. I bet it was so boring when it was talked about.
I'm waiting for it to open.
Well, because I don't think Carl has a plan. So then he's like doing a whole mumble jumble of words that mean nothing. And they're like, let's nix this segment.
He crowdfunded and the minimum was $250. Who the fuck? If anyone listening crowdfunded, you have to reach out to me. I have to know. I have to know about it.
I like the idea of crowdfunding to get the community involved, but if you're relying on a lot of that for actual money,
have the overhead. Yeah,
that's
they didn't have the
crazy.
Overhead.
Like, you should be doing like $5 because then people feel like they're a part of it and will want to come. Give them like a glass or like have them be part of a
exactly.
I don't know what to call it, but like a beer club of sorts, but obviously for non-alc. Like, that's what you should do to get interest and like people to come through your door, not to fund the actual business.
Yes, that's how you know it's funding the business. $250, that's my minimum for one stake in the game? No, just let me be a part of this club. I'll pay $5 a month. Let me be a part of the club.
Like, can you imagine if he just did like a $50 to be part of the club? You get a t-shirt and something like, and then like you get a stamp book for if you come for 100 times, you get something else. Like, people would have done that.
He couldn't though, because he needed more money. He doesn't have the overhead. This man does.
Well,
I want to see.
I mean, he has money. It's that it's so goddamn expensive.
Yeah, he doesn't have the overhead for New York. Someone did say, I was talking to one of my friends about this, and she was like, if he left New York and went to like Colorado in the suburbs, people would eat this shit up. She was just telling me how a new sober place opened right down the street, and she's like, it has lines every night. That's all. New York, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, it's not it, and you could do it for cheaper.
That's the thing. I think this could sustain itself for a little bit, but you need a smaller place, and you just can't build out a warehouse. Like, that is so stupid.
For $10K a month, that's a lot. And it's not, these aren't, I don't want to say this isn't your market because there are a lot of sober people in New York. Yeah. And like, occasionally I like to go get a sober drink too. So I get that, but when you're already in a city, like the most expensive city in America, and restaurants here only make it a max of like 2-3 years a lot of times and then turn over anyway, and they're selling food and drinks, my guy. I want to see your business plan. I'm interested. I want to see it.
I don't feel like there's a real plan, and so it's giving Schwartz and Sandy's where it's just like a chaotic mess, and you're just gonna be like draining money out of an account until you close.
Also, you do one thing wrong and everyone's going to write bad reviews on Yelp, and then your restaurant goes
honestly,
under.
Even if you don't do one bad thing, like, this show ends, you're not on TV anymore.
It's rough. But shout out to Soft Bar. Can't wait to try you if you open up this summer. We'll see. I'll be waiting. Okay, let's talk about Kyle and Amanda them in general, maybe having a family. We'll just go into it. There was a big conversation at the beginning of the summer that got cut out that's going to go on to,
I was about to say,
behind the sheets.
What is it? Under the sheets?
Under the sheets.
Behind the sheets.
We're pulling, I don't know. Hanging under the rug. Who cares? But it was about their relationship and what needed to change. Amanda says she had one foot out the door. The relationship was on shaky ground. Kyle acknowledges that he socializes as an outlet, and he's not great at moderation because he's drinking when he's out socializing.
I get this. My family is like this. When you start, it's really hard for people to stop. But like, it seems like Kyle is out all the time too. It's not like he just goes out the Saturday in the Hamptons and gets obliterated and doesn't like come to bed sometimes, like, but he's in the house. It's that he's doing this all the time and like constantly busy, and like there's no room in any life.
Kyle doesn't do moderation in anything. So during the week when he's working for Loverboy, he's 1,000% in all day long, right? He also works out. Amanda says he's up at like 5 a.m. working out, goes to work, is there until night. He eats dinner and then goes back to work. And then on weekends now he's fucking a DJ or something. So he's putting 1,000% into that. And that leaves 0% for Amanda or the future family that they'll have. So, yeah. And Kyle also does this thing. He's been doing it for years at this point, like since he turned 38 maybe. And he's like, this might be my last summer. I have to go so hard in the Hamptons. But it's, dude, you've been on this show for 9 years at this point. You've been saying it's your last summer for at least 5 of those years.
It's like at some point you just need to be responsible for your own actions and say what you want to do, because I think what frustrates Amanda too is he says he's going to change and he doesn't, or he acts like this is the last time, so it's his last hurrah. If you want to hit it hard on Saturday night every time in the Hamptons, and you're upfront about that, I don't think Amanda would actually care that much because her expectations would be different.
But every year he says, next summer I will be settling down.
I'm a great husband this year.
I won't be doing
this
it.
Is
and
my
then
year.
He does the same fucking thing. Also, I cannot stress enough how, my God, the first few summers, right? Season 1, he was like, Amanda's not looking for a ring. Season 2, he's like, oh, Amanda and I are going to settle down soon, so we got to like keep going. Then he proposes to Amanda and he's like, this might be my last summer ever. And then they get married and he's like, this might be my last summer ever. And then 3 years later, we're still the same carousel ride. Like, babes, divorce. I can't, I know.
But then he talked to Schwartz and is like, wow, I really thought I'd be a dad by now.
I can't believe I don't have kids. What has Amanda done? Then you're kind of putting the blame on Amanda. You're like, because I want this. I'm sorry.
Well,
in what world?
Because, I mean, they could have kids and Kyle probably wants it this way. He wants kids and a wife. He doesn't want to be a husband and a father. He doesn't think about the responsibility it would take. He just wants this like dream life where he gets to like show up on Saturday and like show the kid how to ride a bicycle or play baseball with the kid. Like, he doesn't want to be the one making dinner on weeknights and taking the kid to school.
Yeah. And I get that he wants to like build this company for his future. I get that. Like,
I understand it.
Once he has kids, I get all that. I get it. Because if you told me today to have kids, I'd be like, I'm not financially ready. I have to get there. But the reality is like, you're never going to have all your ducks in a row.
Yes.
Like, and you've been trying to get your ducks in a row for a minimum of 5 years.
That's what pisses me off. Is like, it's not like you're asking for one more year and you're going to be ready. You will never truly be ready, but you have done nothing to move yourself to a spot.
Pendulum forward. Yeah.
And they keep, the group asks, like, at what age is you're like, hey, I don't have everything where I want, but we got to do this anyways. And he doesn't even have an age. It's just, I think he constantly wants to push it off. And I think that's an underlying thing. I don't think he realizes he's doing that, because I think he probably truly is scared to like have kids and like have that responsibility. But yeah, don't blame Amanda for that shit.
Yeah. And then they mentioned like the sale of Loverboy, which it could take years, dude, to get your company sold. I don't think you should like.
And even if he sells, he's an entrepreneur at heart. This is who you are. You will want to start a next business. Like, you don't know how to slow down. So like, you need to look at how to, somebody on the other couch said this, like, I think it was Sarah, how do you enjoy your life without kids? Because if you can't make room right now, I don't think you're going to make room when you have kids and things get busier. And like, what if there actually is a sale? Like, of course you need to dedicate your life, but if you don't know how to have work-life balance and know when to clock in and when to clock out, like, there's a problem.
Kyle's my nightmare of a person, because I remind myself every day, I work to live. He lives to work, which is the opposite of Amanda, right? So like, these two people are not compatible right off of that, because if I'm dating someone, we're only working so we can afford our trips and our fun things. But then if you're working on our trips and doing our fun thing, like, it's not fun anymore. It's not fun to share that experience with you.
My mom always said, like, if you can't get your job done in your 8 hours, like, there's something wrong with you. And I do think there's something, like, more hours needed to be, like, an owner. And, like, like, I totally understand that. But if you can't clock out on a vacation, That's a you thing. It's not because the company needs you. Like, you can't, that's on you constantly. Like, you should be able to trust people, have the right team in place to run for a week without you. Obviously, if major things happen and they need to call you, that's different, but you should be able to step away for a time or two. You're addicted to work. Yeah. They don't need you.
Can I also be so honest, as someone who's worked for small companies, you don't need the owners like that much. Like, the owners are there to make overarching decisions. And let me tell you, the worst owners to work with are the ones who are in the trenches.
The day-to-day, yeah.
Like, you hired me to do the day-to-day. Let me just do the day-to-day, and I'll call you if things go wrong. I'll let you know before there's a new design. Like, obviously, product development, that needs to go by you. But, like, you literally check out. I prefer
you should not have to sign off on everything, because that means you don't have the right team in place.
You don't have the team. Exactly. So anyway, Amanda says she's actually ready to have kids with someone who's ready to have kids with her. I thought it was crazy.
Cleared him.
Great. Also, though, we got to talk about Amanda's mental health. She's obviously worried with the pregnancy. Like, your hormones are obviously crazy. Amanda's dealt a lot with, like, depression and anxiety. And she has shared that with us. But Amanda says she's kind of prepared in the sense that her medication she's taking can be taken with while pregnant. Mm-hmm. And Lindsay says, like, that's really important because postpartum depression is very serious, and like Lindsay experienced that. So she's happy Amanda's like at least aware of that beforehand and is thinking about it. So yeah, and then they basically agree. Amanda's like, look, biologically, this needs to happen in the next few years. So right there.
Yeah.
Listen.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Not with Kyle.
Do you think they divorce or something? Because I think Amanda wants to be a mom.
I know, but I don't think she wants it that bad to
be alone. A single parent. Yeah,
a single parent while married.
I think in their old age, like, okay, they might get through they're different decades right now, but I think they might get through like the next 10 years if they don't have children. The next 10 years ish, but I don't think it'll last past that. If they don't have kids, I think they're going to be like, nothing has changed in our relationship.
I think they'll either divorce in the next 4 years or they'll be together for 20.
Kyle's already pushing 50. What are we doing?
I just think, like, if you already stayed for that long and you're not having kids, like, she's got her girlfriends, like, she'll keep herself busy and just whatever.
I don't know. I think once Amanda starts going through that menopause, she's going to be like, I never had kids. And I think that might push her into a different kind of depression. Because that's what she wants, right? This is something.
Yeah, but I could see her leaving Kyle in like 4 years and having a kid at the same time Lindsay did. Like,
Lindsay style, she just finds the first one and she's like,
she finds a really good guy, and maybe they aren't like, they get pregnant quickly. Maybe it doesn't work out romantically, but who cares? You have a great co-parent. That's the dream.
I'm kind of about it. Yeah,
I kind of want to pull a Lindsay. Like,
I'm kind of into it. I love it. Actually,
we love living alone, so like.
No, Lindsay's, if I ever crave being a parent, that's my problem, is I'm not craving being a mother. Mm-hmm. But if that ever were something that I was like craving, Lindsay did it in the best way possible.
In the most Lindsay way possible.
Ideal. Honestly, fuck your timeline, dude. This is the dream.
Add that to the timeline.
Watch us fall in love. Ooh, gross.
I want to be like, think I'm in love when we're pregnant and like have the baby, and then like be like, you know what? We're just great co-parents.
I think I just need to love the person. Like, we don't need to be
as a person.
Love.
Yeah.
Just like, you're my best. Like, you.
I just kind of like the delusion of like, oh my God, we're having a baby together.
So in love. The
like, we're together.
Like, never mind.
We're good.
Lindsay's living our dream. Watch us fall in love forever. Ew.
I mean, make that into a fairy tale, please.
Watch. Okay, so we have to talk about Craig versus Kyle with the Spritz Society drama.
I'm so fucking tired of this fight. We all knew. Okay. Like, we all knew.
We're going to hit the points we care about. Paige fought pretty hard for Craig, not only in this, but in a lot of other areas of his fucking life. Even I was very against Craig, and it felt weird because I couldn't be against Paige, but
Well, she did a good job. Like, I genuinely thought he was a good guy now because she PR'd everything.
Whoa, she fought for that man. I gotta tell you though, listening to her talk, every 5 seconds I was like, how did she date this man? It would drive me nuts.
I can't believe they lasted 3 years.
No, truly. I say he's a walking it. I don't know how she didn't get it. Anyway, so in this situation, Paige doesn't even know if Craig was telling the truth when it comes to the Kyle shit, because she doesn't actually know like what he was telling Kyle or what Craig believed.
Yeah.
And
or
also,
like what the deal
liar.
really was. Craig is a liar to
Craig's
everyone.
A big liar. Hey, and if you're a Craig supporter, you're wrong because he does lie. There's 9 seasons of it.
You're dumb. Like, to be honest, if you believe that shit, he has so much lying on tape. Like,
it's hilarious.
It's not even like Jesse. Like, a lot of Jesse's lies weren't caught on tape. So, like, and I think that man's a liar. Craig, it's out there, babe.
It's on tape. I mean, there was a montage. We saw it.
Yeah.
And then Craig lied that the montage wasn't real. Also, he's a conspiracy theorist, and he believes that people are fish when they get the hiccup. So, like, who are we trusting here? Who are we trusting for real? You know?
That's the thing. It used to be, everything's used to be quirky, and then you, like, hear kind of everything.
It's not funny anymore.
And you're like, see, that's now evidence on why you're crazy.
It's not funny.
No.
Okay, so basically, yeah, the Spritz Society shit happens. Kyle says, crazy enough, though, when the breakup happened, he checked in on Craig, and Craig responded by unfollowing the cast on Instagram, which Lindsay was like, not Lindsay, Paige said, if you ever spoke out pro me, he unfollowed you. And I
think that's so
what
funny.
A child. He's like also 40? What's his issue? This man's crazy. Grow up, honestly.
I just can't imagine being a public figure in the Bravo space, especially because they like are so tied together with going on Watch What Happens Live together and BravoCon, and being like tracking what other people are saying online and being like, me, I'm gonna go on Instagram and unfollow you.
Honestly, grow up.
Tell me you don't have a job and don't do something day to day that you're tracking this shit so hard.
No, literally, all he does is sit at home and he sews. You sit at home and you sew. What's wrong?
You sit at home and you unfollow people on Instagram.
On Paige, that was Team Loverboy. So, yeah, you don't want Paige as an enemy.
The fact that Kyle was like, I texted Paige to check in on her, and she texted me, Team Lover. Shut the fuck up, Kyle. It's not about you and your goddamn alcohol business.
He's like, back to my business.
He's like, hashtag Team Loverboy, actually.
Should we all like tweet? Well, I don't use Twitter anymore, but Blue Sky, should I go Team Loverboy? That could be my one and only post. So now we have to talk Craig getting kicked out of Amanda and Kyle's wedding. This was the talk of the town, and Paige was like, you don't know what you're talking about to everyone. She says that and I believe this, at the reunion last year when this was brought up, Paige was mostly mad that Danielle spread that gossip to a blogger because they don't within the cast like go to blogs about each other. But I swear Paige said something, maybe not like no he didn't get kicked out, but said something like you don't know the story, that's not what happened. Like she was 10 toes down for this man. No,
she has always said he didn't get kicked out, and this is the framing of it though, because I think he didn't get kicked out, he got asked to leave.
He was asked to leave. And then, okay, so what he was doing, he was going around drunk, kicking tables.
I mean, that is so embarrassing.
I went, why wouldn't you break up with him right here? This would have been the end for me. This is embarrassing.
I don't even know if they were officially started, but I guess maybe at prom they officially started dating, but like that was, oh wait, I'm trying to think of when everything happened.
They were relatively new, I think, because their first coming out was Kyle and Amanda's wedding.
That's what I thought.
So like the internet was like, there's also this picture of them making out in September.
Yes, we got that photo booth like live. Yes, you're so right. It was so new into their relationship. I'm sorry, I would immediately break up with somebody if you're kicking tables at a wedding.
No. I'm gonna make it worse for you. It's my best friend. I'm a bridesmaid in the wedding.
In the wedding.
We're all public figures and I'm friends with the family, and this is how you act as my date?
I know. I kind of was like, okay, because they talked a lot before this and like what Paige said at this reunion, there had always been comments about him going into the house and using that bathroom. And to be honest, if like Paige's shit was in there and she was going in and out and he's just like, oh, I'm with the bridal party, whatever, fine. That's all we had really heard is like he went in the house and he wasn't supposed to. Not the biggest offense, but I understand, like, you should apologize the next day. But like hearing he's kicking, he's doing shit publicly, that's so embarrassing. Him being also, like a drunk and causing debauchery, no.
Also, let's take it a step further. We wake up the next day and I go, hey, you got to apologize. And he goes, no.
Oh my God. I immediately pictured that winter house scene where he was like, I'm not cleaning the house.
I'm not cleaning. And then when Luke was like, some people, we were just raised different. That's what I would also say. Obviously, you didn't have to clean up after your mess. And he's like, actually, I grew up in a middle class home. And it's like, well, obviously you didn't have to clean that hard or you were treated like a fucking baby, honestly.
Or now that you have money, you think you're above it? Like, come on.
I didn't understand why Paige didn't break up with him then. Remember, I was so mad. I was like, he's such an ick. This would have sent me. How embarrassing. I have to then text my friend's parents and be like, I am so sorry. My future boyfriend, because we're not even dating at this point, was throwing a hissy fit.
That if I have to apologize for you and you won't even apologize for you, not happening. We're not together.
Let's just make it even worse. You know that she told her parents, and her parents were probably like, break up with him.
No, I bet she didn't tell her parents because she was so embarrassed.
I would have told, well, yeah, I mean, this is hindsight. But she tells her parents everything. And her parents didn't like Craig. Well, I think they didn't hate him, but I think they were concerned.
I think they grew, like, they clearly had, like, a rapport over the years. And, like, he went on family vacations with them. Like, you're fine. I mean, but yeah, I don't think they loved him.
Paige's dad was kind of happy when they broke up.
Yeah.
So did Paige lie for Craig? And she's like, literally always. And I was like, because Craig's a liar. And she said more of like situations.
That stuff's
Craig would put her in situations.
Because they're little lies that you just keep brushing everything under the rug. Like, oh, we just wanted to leave early. Oh, like, we weren't feeling well. You're just coming up with excuses constantly on why you got to leave. And this makes more sense to the Southern Charm, Craig saying like, oh, I'm an alcoholic, like I need to stop drinking as much. Yeah, you're a lunatic. You're a lunatic when you drink.
Literally therapy, my guy. You're crazy. You're off your goddamn rocker.
But he's still drinking. Like he just drinks light beer now. He's a dry drunk kind of.
He's not even doing the Heineken Zeros. He can't even do that.
He'll do non-alc sometimes, but like he's still drinking Bud Lights. At least on Southern Charm he was.
Oh, God, drives me nuts. The fact that he would then put Paige in these situations too, that tells you he never loved her. He didn't love her. Sorry. You keep putting the person you love in shitty situations to cover for you. You're a fucking loser. An absolute loser.
It's that, okay, so he, I'll say, kind of got sober. He stops drinking an obscene amount, and probably they don't have those horrific moments like the wedding. But you're not nice enough that when she's going on tour, you treat her nicely. Like, that's, like, you just suck all the time. Like, you never were good to her.
He never loved her. Yeah, he's, God, to date this man.
He loved having her.
Not having her.
Her.
Well, he raised her. When Paige started dating Craig, I went, is there something about Craig I'm missing? Because I would never. This man drove me nuts. But I thought, you know what? I'm pro Craig. I see it. Then all the gigglers who never watched Southern Charm were like, oh my God, we love Craig. He got so much street cred from her.
I think what added to the lure of her being with him was that they always had partners at opposite times. So there's always this like, oh, we can't. And so then when they're single at the same time after spending like time in Winter House just as friends, you're like, let's see if there's something there. Like after like 2-3 years, it's like
two people with their own following. Paige is so hot and beloved. Oh my God. And Craig's a loser. And now he's like, look at me dating the pretty popular girl.
And let's be honest, long distance like helped them stay together longer because she didn't have to deal with him constantly.
My God, imagine if these two lived together. You would drive me nuts.
It would be Amanda and Kyle, basically. Worse. Honestly, worse. Because, like, Kyle is, like, to Craig, a decent person when he's not drinking.
That.
He has his moments, for sure. Let's not give that white man too much credit. But, like,
he's not a bad person. And I think there's a really distinct thing we always need to talk about when talking about Bravo men, because 90% of them are terrible. But there's a difference between a bad person and just like a bad moments. Yeah, bad moments that make the dude look bad. Like we said, West isn't inherently a bad person.
Yes.
He just did some shitty ass things that, right? Like,
and I don't think Jesse's that bad of a person. I think he's making more bad choices, though, consistently in relationships.
He hasn't turned around. He hasn't learned from it yet.
As a friend, Jesse isn't horrible. I think he sucks more than those other two, but I don't think he's like Craig yet. But he could.
I agree. Yeah. There's definitely a difference, and Craig is one of the shitty men. Like,
and I think the longer you are on TV, the more your head gets big. Like, I think Jesse is on a trajectory to become like Craig.
I think it also depends. Craig's show is famously a bunch of rich kids, and Craig came in, this middle-class guy from Delaware who had to work, but then he comes up with a pillow empire, and he gets, like, a lot of fans, and people love Craig, and now he doesn't need to work, and now he can just call a cleaning service because he doesn't have to clean after himself.
Like, I think Carl was a bad person and got sober and fixed his life.
There you go. Yeah, Carl's a great example. Yeah. It's honestly crazy. I would go as far to say we on Summer House have not had many, if any, like, bad guys. Everett's a terrible man in my eyes.
But like, for reasons that were not even on TV.
No. That's just because he's MAGA. But other than that, but most of the guys have been relatively, like, make shitty choices and do shitty things. But all in all are, like, good people. Like, I would kick it with any of them.
And I think it really is the style of the show. It's that they all really are friends. I think living together requires you to be a real person for longer periods of time, that I don't think people who are bad people could make it.
Yeah. And I don't think there's this competition aspect. Like, we're all in New York just trying to make it. Like, that's the show. We all come from maybe nothing, maybe something. But, like, at the end of the day, New York doesn't care because we're all paying astronomical prices to try and do literally anything.
And the show puts them on, like, a level playing field when it comes to a lot more level playing field when it comes to time and scenes, because you're all showing up to the same weekend. You just have to show up to the house to be on the show. Obviously, there's storylines that'll be bigger based on what's going on, but, like, you don't have to be invited to a dinner and be best friends with people. Like, it's just going to naturally happen.
I hate Craig. Anyway, we got to keep talking about him. So let's talk about the breakup. So Craig went to Paige's for Thanksgiving. Sierra was also there. Sierra knew something wasn't right, which...
I want to know what the catalyst was that weekend that, like, Paige was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Do you think he got drunk and started kicking tables?
No, because I think her parents would have killed him.
Her dad would have killed him.
He had to have said something about her to her. Like, she had already had her panic attack.
Damn, you right. Some terrible. Anyway, Paige then so Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. Paige broke up with him Sunday. So
they were long distance. That was a phone call, which I didn't expect. Well, I guess I kind of did.
Well, she was like, listen, we're breaking up. We can have an in-person conversation about it, but we're broken up.
I understand why he didn't think it was fully real. Because if you're like, we're having this over the phone, I will see you in December. I understand that, like, it's a little gray until we see each other.
I don't think, because then December 10th, he goes on Watch What Happens Live. I don't think he needed to say we're broken up. But he went in. He was sitting there being like, I can't wait to propose. We're going to have 12 children together. I'm going to move to New York. She's going to move to Charleston. Because
I think he's like, wow, we're tied in the media. I've made these grand statements. This is stuff he thinks this is what she wants to hear. And so he's going to go into that convo and be like, we're good. See, I'm committed to you.
You know, she watched it and was like, oh, I can't wait to dump him again.
Because he didn't see what the real problems were.
Well, he's just a bad person. So yeah.
It's him. So he would have to look in the mirror and say, hi, my name is Craig and I'm the problem.
Never. This man, therapy? Never heard of it. Never heard of her. So then that weekend or whenever he was on Watch What Happens Live, that week, they talk. Officially broken up, these two. They will not get back together. But now they're not speaking. And, Craig goes on a trip to, I think, Aspen or something, somewhere. Mm-hmm. He's out and Paige sees that he's out and, like, flirting with girls and doing things, which is fine. But she didn't then want the perception of, like, oh, no, he's cheating on Paige. Now we have to deal with this
I think is really nice of her to think about that. Like, so he has every right to be flirting with people and out there, and he does not deserve any hate for that.
Agreed. And it's just a bigger cleanup. Like, then Paige has to be like, no, it's okay. Because what if they didn't come out? She's like, no, I'm fine with him cheating on me. Like, that's also weird. Like, what? Yeah. She would have to say something. So she, on her she texts him and is like, hey, I'm going to put out a statement. Doesn't hear back from him. And then she goes on her podcast, which I think was dropped New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. Or I think the 30th. Because
it was dropped New Year's Eve.
Really? I didn't think I was in Mexico New Year's Eve. But what do I know? So New Year's Eve, it comes out. Craig and Paige have broken up. She made it really easy. The statement was very nice. I, as a Bravo watcher, though, all my friends were like, I'm so glad they're going to stay friends. And I was like, no. Something happened that I don't know about.
I thought that they were going to be cordial, like BravoCon cordial. Like, I don't think they were ever going to be friends, but like mass unfollowing is not where I thought this was going to go based on her statement.
The way Paige said it, in her statement, she's like, nothing happened. We just broke up. Yeah, I thought like they would still like wish each other well, whatever. Yes. Or, I think that's what everyone thought. I was like, something had to have happened. Why are these two breaking up? Because I always said they would have broken up before, or they're going to be here forever and we're going to be fucking stuck with this. So I was like, I don't know, I'm fishy, but I don't like Craig, so I'm glad he's gone.
The way she reminisced about their relationship, I was like, wow, they like...
They're had a
very adult relation or like breakup where they like had a conversation.
It must have been the distance. It must have been her not wanting to have kids.
Yeah, could have a conversation.
Okay, but then he, of course, the rumors of Paige cheating comes out, and we know Paige reached out and was like, hey, could you just like say something? And listen, this was exes in a normal setting do not owe each other anything. These two are on a public forum. I always said I think he should have said something. I understand everyone else's point of view of like he didn't need to. I was like, but he should. I don't think a good person.
He needs to defend her, say anything. He just needed to say the truth. And Paige said it perfectly. Like, we're not normal exes. He doesn't in real life doesn't need to say anything. But because their reputation is everything, he owed the truth to people and her to not ruin her.
But instead, he's total victim. Oh, she dumped
me. He like
and now
leaned into it a little bit.
She dumped me for other people. Look at her on these dates at the Jets games.
That's crazy.
No one's falling in love at a Jets game, please. It's like the least sexy place to ever be.
Also, tell me you're so insecure that you need to be like, she left me for other people. Yeah, she's gonna move on, dude. Bitch.
Our asses were like, yeah, and we would too.
You were flirting with people in Aspen. You're allowed to move on. So is she. What's the problem here?
Felt 0% bad for that man at all times. Let me tell you.
The problem is she is doing it successfully. He wasn't. That's why he was mad.
He went home with like Austin that night or something. Yeah, he didn't take a girl home. She's getting box seats at a shitty NFL game. So at least there's that. But he didn't have to worry. Again, no one's falling in love at the Jets games.
No.
But then we saw a very emotional side of Paige this summer. Andy asks, and I wondered this too, because it's very bold of Paige to kind of go on, be filmed being like, I'm very unhappy in this relationship. Craig gives me so much anxiety. Yeah. Basically like calling him out. Because if they had stayed together, the viewers would be like, break up with him. Break up with him. What are we doing here? But Paige and Craig, because they've both been doing this a long time, they had agreed, like, if you feel something and it's real, say it on camera.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate it, too. I've always, though, felt Craig was a little fake, because even when we knew he was having problems with Paige, remember, he's like, she's going to move here and be so happy in Charleston.
But I think he's like, fake with himself. So I think it truly starts with him. Like, I don't think he was ever honest with himself about what Paige was even saying to him about not wanting to live in Charleston, not being ready for kids. Like, he was never listening anyways. So I think he was being honest based on what he thought. But
also very true. It's also in his delusion.
Yeah.
Paige, though, says she will never say it. He will never hear her say his name again.
I appreciate that.
That's awesome. I'm going to do that with all my exes, even the ones I haven't talked to in 10 years. Oh, you'll never hear me say your name again, sir. I'll say it privately, but you'll never hear it.
I love that Annie was like, ooh, BravoCon will be interesting.
Oh my God, we got to get tickets.
You know what I want? I now want them to do an exes panel where you have like Madison and Austin on a panel, Craig and
Lindsay
Paige.
and Carl. Because here's the other thing. You can't have Austin and Madison because they're kind of Team Craig. So you got to give Paige to people. Give her Carl and Lindsay. And then it'll just
there's
be a
even
battle.
like below deck people. Like it doesn't have to be the Southern charm. But Paige would never show up. Paige would be like, I'm not doing that panel. And I would think
Craig
that's so funny.
They're so sad. And he's like, I guess she left me again I bet she's with another guy. And I'd be like,
I want that.
I hope so. I hope she's with another guy.
A Bravo exes panel, but like Paige is never booked.
Yeah, don't even ask her. She'll say no.
Like Craig, everybody has a partner except for Craig.
Yeah. So Paige really thought her and Craig maybe would be, go in a different direction once they broke up. But now they will never speak again. I'm obsessed.
He chose that. She's reacting and saying like, we're done here. Boundaries. She tried to be amicable about it.
He's still gonna victim. And I'm glad I never bought a pillow. I did buy a shirt from his stupid store.
I have a fucking pillow.
I was looking for, but it wasn't your money. That's your mom's choice.
True.
I was looking for the Paige DeSorbo collection, which wasn't in stores when I was there, because I would have bought that.
I didn't even want it when they were together. So like it's
no, it doesn't
hidden
fit
away.
My vibe. Yeah, it doesn't
No,
fit
same.
my vibe. It doesn't fit my vibe. Okay, so Paige is dating, nothing serious. She's booked and busy, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Will Jesse pursue Paige? She's like, of course I will.
I did think that joke was funny. We got another Lexi face, and it's like, okay, that was a real joke last year. Like, this makes sense.
He just talks so goofy, dude. He's like, of course I will. Like, that's
he should
actually,
what he should have said is like, well, no, she's not in a relationship anymore because he was into her because she was in a relationship.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be funny. Jesse really isn't that funny. Honestly.
Remember, it's a joke, but like it's only a joke
it's
to him, I guess, if it actually isn't funny.
So Paige, though, she's also had some major growth. Very exciting. She's really manifested and worked hard for all of this. So good for her. Now we got to talk about, will Lindsay be back next summer? Lindsay says she doesn't know that she's going to be in the house 24/7 every weekend, but she'll be there. Mm-hmm. She'll be there. Don't worry. And then we do a toast. And Andy's like, we're all going to drink Lindsay's breast milk. And I screamed. I died. I went, how weird for Carl. Like, immediately. I was like, don't make him. And then it was like, JK, we're drinking White with Russians. Except for Carl, who does have Lindsay's breast milk. And I went, that is so weird. And then it was like, just kidding. It's just oat milk. And I was like, that was the craziest emotional roller coaster I've ever been on in my life.
I died laughing. Jesse, take notes. These are good jokes.
That was the craziest. It all happened within the span of 7 seconds. And my heart wouldn't stop.
Because, like, it was like you're taken aback type of joke. Like, everybody's silent. So then there's, like, a dead silence of, like, what?
It was crazy. It was the craziest.
I liked the build on the joke. It was good.
They gave me a joke that I was shocked about and then pulled it back and then brought me back again. And I was like, the Carl one, I was like, and then they give him and they're like, this is oat milk. And he's like, it's oat milk.
It's oat milk. Like, because like, there's two concerns. It's like, do not give me the alcohol, obviously. But like, I would rather, I think, have the alcohol over Lindsay's breast milk.
Please confirm it's oat milk. Please confirm.
Carl's like, I'm not sipping out of this at all because I don't trust you guys.
It was so funny. So then Kyle gives the toast to friends, to family, and to coming together again this coming summer. And then Amanda says, and to baby Gemma.
Hip hip hooray.
Our first summer house baby. It is very exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's our season, our episode. I posted in our Patreon for our $5 patrons one last time. And I said, final thoughts for season 5. And we got a response from Lindsay. Not Hubbard. This is Lindsay R. Watch it be Lindsay Hubbard in disguise. No.
I would love that.
Lindsay R. Not Hubbard says, love Lindsay's diatribe about perception playing a part in Jesse and Lexi's mess. Then Jesse going back on a break and saying that she's making me look bad. making me look bad literally proved Lindsay's point. Jesse has still learned nothing. And then to joke that he would go after Paige is disrespectful. He can say no, he wouldn't, because he's taking a break from dating in the house. He doesn't care about Lexi's feelings at all. Even the questions from Andy were kind of rude. But it's a joke, so I guess I can't think that.
I think he gets none of the other jokes, but if he did just the Paige one, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. But it's everything else. It's building. Yeah. Like, she's pissed off. I get it. Yeah. It is insensitive in context of everything else.
Listen, I'm pro these two never being near each other again.
Well, please. Like, what's going to happen with, like, next season?
It sucks because I think Lexi could be really great on Summer House. She could.
I know.
She's hot. All the dudes would fight over her, and she's just in her own world.
She could have a good cast built around her. I don't think she could ever carry the show. She could never be a Paige or Lindsay for me, but I think she's like an Amanda. We're like, Amanda's a little bit quieter. She's a supporting character.
But still has a little spice to her. Like the way she kind of read Jesse those few times, I was in for it.
That's true.
Lindsay R says surprised but not surprised about Lindsay and Turner. I liked how Paige spoke about the breakup. It felt like she got the final word and gave closure to the whole issue. Agreed, because Craig confused me more when he talked about it on Southern Charm.
I don't know who posted this, but somebody said in that final episode, she got 10 minutes of her episode. He got 3 minutes to talk about the breakup in his final episode. Like the season finales.
Great, because no one cared.
Well, it's like Paige is the one we want to hear from. Let's be honest.
Truly. And then Lindsay says, are Kyle and Amanda okay? They don't spend time together. It's so confusing. Meredith put it out there. 4 years or together forever. We'll see.
4 years, and I think a divorce and a Lindsay type baby.
I would love that. I do want to mention, so I didn't watch the whole episode, but Amanda and Kristen Cavallari were on Watch What Happens Live, which is very interesting because Kristen has a past with Craig.
Yes, and she confirmed that they slept together.
She confirmed that they slept together, and there was slight overlap. Kristen was hanging out with Craig, whatever you want to call it. And then she saw the picture that we all saw in New York of Craig and Paige making out, and texted Craig and said, I think we're good. I think we're going to stop, which was fine. But Lindsay posted on her story, I don't know if you saw this. I was dying laughing. So Kristen Cavallari confirmed that. And then if you remember, we went to the summer house, and Lindsay, when Craig was there at the summer house, said something along the lines of like, weren't you just with Kristen Cavallari while you were dating Paige? Because that's when the fight happened, and Craig was like, you're a loser, Lindsay. And I thought it was so funny because like, what a weird comeback. I love calling people losers. But Lindsay posted and like the clip of Kristen Cavallari confirming and was like, isn't it crazy that I was called a loser when I brought this up by a bigger loser or something like that? Yeah. And I was like, you know what, though? Call his ass out. I forget exactly. But Kristen Cavallari did a great job. She's really great on Watch What Happens Live.
She also is always pretty honest, like, with what's going on.
Oh, here. Remember when Craig screamed at me for hours at Summer House because I gave Paige the heads up about the situation? And here we are, the truth bomb. So glad Paige is not with a Pathy anymore.
God.
Oh, that's one of my favorite clips. If Lindsay doesn't come back, I'm going to find that clip and I'm going to put it on her TikTok because that was just so good.
I love it. Was there anything else on Watch What Happens Live?
No, I think they just discussed the final episodes. I think they talked about Kyle being a dad. It doesn't matter. But Kristen was very fun. I enjoy Kristen Cavallari a lot, just as like a person.
Show played on Bravo last night, right after Summer House.
Oh, that's right. Honestly,
but it's on Cavallari? E, but I don't know what it actually is called, but the show actually will air on E the rest of the time, but it did play on Bravo to probably drum up some attention.
What was her old show?
Very Cavallari.
This is honestly Cavallari. Very Cavallari has a better ring, but
I agree. And also, like, that was on E as well, so like they could have done like Very Cavallari, the podcast tour. Like they owned the show.
I did see a clip. This is off topic a little, but I did see a clip from the show because she did a live podcast where she brought in her Laguna Beach friends, like the people from her grade. So like Jason Talon, Jessica, and the two Alexes, I think. And Talon has spoken out and said he got really drunk at that live recording.
I saw this when it went down. Clip? Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, just for the listeners, Talon was talking about in the clip I saw how producers wanted Talon to ask Kristen to prom, and he was like, well, that's really fucking terrible. And Kristen's like, fuck you. What the hell?
He was so mean to her.
Yeah. And then was like, dogging her a little, and then brought up how he has a mullet now and he's trying to be a real Montana boy, which, as we know, is Kristen's ex. And
he also basically said, like, stop dating. Like, he was going after her for, like, past stuff and, like, current stuff. And it's like, this is her podcast. Like, shut the fuck up.
Talon's gotta calm down. But yeah, crazy. I'm gonna tune in. I loved Very Cavalieri, but only because of Jay Cutler, so I'm a little nervous without him.
I know. Well, this is like a limited series, so I think it's a little bit easier because it's structured. It's just on her podcast tour, which was 6 stops. So it's a very short, just like very specific piece of her life.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll never cover Very Cavalieri because it's more than 1 season, so we don't need that shit. But if anyone's interested, Meredith, me and my boss would talk about it in the office when we worked together because he loved it. He was addicted.
Jay Cutler was hilarious. He carried that show.
As Midwesterners who then were all living in Chicago, Jay Cutler was, because Jay played for the Chicago Bears, for those who don't know. He was the best part of that show with his stupid deer cam. Good time. Good time.
Well, can we talk about the big news of Paige leaving Summer House?
I am sad for myself because I enjoyed Paige, but I think it's for the best.
I agree.
I send her well wishes. It's been a great time. I've loved every second, even the ones I've hated.
It makes the most sense, no matter if that the Valley type thing show takes off that everybody's asking for or not. I think Paige is at the place in her career where she's fine with or without the show.
I agree. She also just launched a PJ line. There is some controversy about it right now. Yeah. About stealing designs from a smaller creator. So we'll see what happens with that.
They're not saying Paige did it specifically. It's like her partner did it.
Her partner was connected to the smaller. Yeah. So even the creator, or the person who has the pajama line is not blaming Paige for it. But this is, when you sign on, it's crazy.
I know.
But I wish Paige the best in her future endeavors. I wish her the best for Giggly Squad. I do think it's just probably the right move, the right time.
Me too.
That being said, do we think these people are coming back?
I think there'll be another season. I worry it's going to be like Vanderpump, where it just kind of like crumbles because it's not a good season. And then it'll take down the whole show. But I've heard Emerald's out. I've heard Lexi, they're on the fence, and I've heard Gabby
Jesse's
is out.
Going back. So are you going to have Jesse and Gab? But here's the thing. Now you have really as much as I love Sierra and Amanda, you need a girl, because Lindsay's not going to be back. So you need a girl to kind of carry it. So what? I think it's going to crumble for sure. In my humble opinion, you bring back Lexi and Emerald. You build a cast around them, and you have the rest of the cast pop in occasionally, and you do an off, a separate thing with everyone else.
Yeah.
You do. Don't wait for it to crumble and then do what Vanderpump's doing, where you recast everyone. Bring in 2 familiar faces, build around that, because I hate starting anew. I never know anyone's name. It takes me at least 20 episodes.
I know. I think you keep Amanda, Kyle, Sierra.
Yeah. Great.
And then
Wes,
you keep
Wes,
Jesse, Lexi, and Emerald, and you build it out of Emerald and Lexi's friends. You find people they know, or even if they just casually know them, but make them the ones who introduce people.
Love that.
And I think you need 2 girls, 1 guy, and then at the end of the season, Amanda and Kyle drive back to the city, and that's our transition into a city show with Lindsay. Maybe Paige, Danielle.
Yeah.
And
then Carl, you could go too. Carl's out.
I think Carl and Lindsay need to just be guests of over the summer. Love and then we they can be on this fall, whatever happens in the city show. But that's when Amanda, Kyle are done, and like we have the new cast of Summer House. Because we could
properly say goodbye, but bring in new people so we're not like then bombarded with all this new.
Yeah, and it's not just like
we don't want.
Half of the cast goes away and there's nothing left to build it around.
Or honestly, instead of a spinoff, you could just do a winter type-esque show where you throw everyone in a house for 2 weeks. And
I think they need to bring back Winter House. I know it's not the best performing thing, but I think it helps with BravoCon interest and like getting people to cross-watch shows. Like, it's kind of your lost leader. Like, it's not going to make you the most money, but it gets people excited about other shows and introduced into other shows.
And I'm sure Paige can take 2 weeks, go to a house. She can go with Sierra. She's reunited.
I don't think she'll ever do it, but...
Oh, you don't think she'll come back?
No, but like put Lexi in. Like, Paige is like done with this stuff. Like, she's clearly fine, yeah.
But you could bring in then Sierra. You could put Wes and Jesse in that show. I think it would be better. You could have them overlap with other casts, which would be fun. You could have Lindsay come, because they occasionally have guests, have Lindsay come for a night or two.
I think you keep everybody who's like 40 and up out of it, but you got Southern Hospitality, you've got new Vanderpump coming, like
smart.
Lexi from Summer House, like the younger side of Summer House, like a new into generation. All these. Yeah.
Next Gen Z. Mm-hmm. What is it? Next Gen Z?
Next Gen NYC.
They're all Gen Z.
Yeah.
Listen, I gotta tell you guys. Here's a little hint. I tried watching. I made it maybe 15 minutes, and I want to bang my head into it.
I think I need to put my thoughts on TikTok, because like I have some thoughts about it, but I didn't.
It's bad.
I think there is potential. I think they really screwed up their premiere, because they made it seem like we all knew what was going on.
It was very bad. First of all, who's the girl from Atlanta? What's her name?
Ariana.
Ariana. She wants me to believe she's gonna be a New York City girl with those 2 big ass dogs. Those dogs took up the whole sidewalk. I've never been more angry.
I think they did a good job, though, by introing it around Ariana and the fact that her mom took all of her money, because that is a hot storyline in the Bravo sphere, is this divorce. And so, like, that hooked me, as I'm like, oh my God, I want to know what's been up with Ariana. Like, how is she making money? I can't believe she's sending money to her mom. Like, in that conflict with her and her boyfriend. Very real, believable stuff. But these people and their friendships make no sense. Some of them are being introduced to each other. Some of them are friends, but they're not. Like, the way they sold it online is not what actually is happening, and it's very confusing.
I don't know what's happening. I gotta be honest. I have no idea. As someone who doesn't do well with new people, I have no idea what's happening.
I think they really screwed it up, but I think they could do something with, like, this idea could have been done. It's not great.
I made it to the part where I think we've introduced, like, Meredith Marks was there in a blonde wig.
Oh God. It got worse, Alicia.
Her son is creative director, and then those 2 randos showed up, and he's like, hi, I'm Chad or Brad or something. This white dude, Chase.
I don't know what his name is.
I don't know. He showed up, and he's like, him and Marks, are they hooking up? Are they just friends? I have no idea. I don't know. And then
that guy goes on a date with Chloe Marks, Brooks's sister. It's fucking weird.
Oh my God. The sister was there, and I was like, she's never on Salt Lake City. She shows up for one episode, one Jewish dinner that we do, and then never shows up again. I was so
I know.
If you want to do a timeline on any of these people, that would help.
No, there's not enough to do a timeline on them. That's why I did 12. Just mini ones.
They're all maybe 21, and they have nothing. Gia's here. If I got to hear Teresa, I'm also watching Jersey. If I got to hear Teresa say one more goddamn fucking thing, I'm going to lose my mind.
So yeah, I don't think it'll do well. I think it's going to be a 1-season wonder, which makes me not want to watch it. So then we can do it.
Should we not watch? I don't want to watch it. I really don't. I'm going to no interest.
You stop watching. I'm going to give it one more episode, and I think the next episode can tell me if this could be a second season show or not.
God, y'all, I thought Meredith was going to make me watch this. She always makes me watch the dumbest shit sometimes.
No.
I thought she was going to make me watch it.
I would never have made you watch this. If I was going to continue with it, I would just update you on also.
Sometimes I get a text from Meredith, and she's like, you have to watch this episode. And I'm like, we do, and I do it for this show, and I do
it's usually a worthy discussion. I would never make you watch that.
This, I was like, I'm going to push back for the first time in my life.
I tuned in because people asked me on our Instagram if I was going to watch, and I was like, there were enough people asking that I would watch and report back, so here's the report.
Here you go. Clip this for the socials. I can't do it. I don't know any of these people. I'm
going to make a real TikTok about the 3 downfalls I think that they made. And that they could turn it around, but it's already probably edited.
It's already produced.
So if they don't turn these things around, it's going to be a 1-season wonder.
It's already out there. I love it. Great. This was a pretty bad Summer House season.
Yeah.
Bravo, just hire us. We would keep you afloat. You're not doing well. Let me help.
No.
Let me help. Anyway, do all the things, tune in. We'll be back eventually. I think we're doing a 1-season wonder coming up.
It's a crossover from 1-season wonders to Vanderpump Rules with Jax and Brittany take Kentucky. We'll be back in July with that.
I think I said something once and I was like, I never want to watch the show. And Meredith said, well, you're going to have to. And I was like,
I think we have to. 6 episodes.
We're going to do it. Mostly because I know in the show, I've never seen it, but I know Jax goes to church. And that is one of my favorite storylines ever.
I'm looking forward to that. And I think we're going to break our rule on not being spoilers except for this show, because there is no way I can get through this show without talking about how shitty Jax is in present day.
Well, we're forced watching The Valley, which is also not doing too hot currently, in my opinion. Yeah. But Bravo, let me turn your summer around. Remember when Bravo summers were good and we got those promos?
Oh my God.
Man, remember when life was good?
Well, we're going to have fun because we're going back. We're going
to do it.
We're doing Jax and Brittany. It'll only be 6 weeks.
That'll be fun, though. We love a 1-season wonder, though. I love it.
Maybe we should let our Patreon vote if we're going to then do Vanderpump season 6 or Summer House season 4.
Ooh, yeah. Which one do you want more?
Yeah.
I say going forward, too, we also present our 1-season wonders to the Patreon. And we're like, what do you want us to see?
We're just at a perfect time that this is the only time Jax and Brittany, but the next 1-season wonders, they can have a vote.
Cocaine addict. Maybe we'll see some proof. Maybe we'll see where it started in Kentucky. It didn't. It started way back in LA. But
yeah, and we already did, thank God, proof. The season where he does show it on camera at his wedding. Never have to do that again.
Sorry, it's not funny, but it is. Anyway, great. We did it. We made it through a pretty bad season. We'll be back. Do all the things in our description. And with that, thanks for being here. Love ya.
Thanks for joining. Bye.